Hey everybody, I'm Drew Downs and welcome to my weekly homily. Tonight we're covering Proper 28, Year A. That's Matthew 25:14-30. And it's known as the Parable of the Talents. Now you probably already know this parable. Jesus is talking to these people, telling the story about this master who leaves behind these talents for 3 slaves. The first one gets 5, the second one gets 2, the third one gets 1. It's worth noting that each talent, this talent isn't just some quarter, it's not a quarter or something. This is actually 15 years worth of work, I read earlier. So we're talking big cash, lots of money. And so the first one goes off and he invests. And when the master comes back, he gets this big reward for doing the right thing. The second one comes along. Similarly, who got the 2, he doubled it. He gets rewarded for doing the right thing. And the third one comes along, who supposedly did the wrong thing. He didn't invest it. He buried the talent in sand, and he gets thrown into outer darkness for whatever, right? So the easy reading of this, the plain sort of reading, is that this is about investment, right? This is about what these guys did and what the one didn't do. And most of the time we cover that. Okay, if we just heard this without any other context of Scripture, it probably would be what you'd read. The thing is, this is Jesus's second to last teaching before he hunkers down with his cohort, right? This is the last public teaching. This is it. This is the second to last. I mean, there's one more. And all of these, at the end here, are weird. They don't sound right. They don't sound like the Jesus we believe in. Right? This sounds weird to us. And part of it is that we should look at it from that context, that it's strange. Right? Now it matches up with the one right before it. This is its context with the parable of the bridesmaids. Right? This comes right after that, and it should be heard as coming right after. Now, one thing that we can look at is the structure. And I read somewhere, and I don't remember where, that it's important to look at the structure of this parable, because most parables are told in the opposite of this, right? Like the Good Samaritan, it's told with the first person does the wrong thing, and so they're punished for doing the wrong thing, right? Or they do it, you ignore them. Second one, you ignore them for doing the wrong thing. The third one did it right, so be like them, right? This is the sort of method. That's the sort of teaching. Be like the third one. And in that example, you have the person who's weird, right? The first 2 are the ones that are most like you. Don't be like them. The third one is the person least like you. Be like them, right? This is flipped over, right? So you have the first one is good. Be like them. Second one is good. Be like them, I guess. I'm assuming. Third one is wrong. They should be punished. So in the first one, you have a bunch of, in the first reading, the sort of plain reading of it, you have people in support of investment, that we should be about investing ourselves. Second reading are the people who like the punishment, who are eager to see punishment in anything. So this is an opportunity to punish people for doing the wrong thing. I think both of these visions of this text are too simplistic, are too easy, and particularly because they seem to miss that entire contextual component, which is what is going on around it. Now, what's going on around it is that all of these are visions. These are sort of funhouse visions. If you watch my last homily, you understand what I'm talking about. That this is a funhouse vision of what God is, of what the kingdom of heaven is. So it's a distortion. You know, the piece of the text that got me there was, you wicked and lazy slave. Now with the slave, this third slave, the one that gets punished, what he's done is not wicked. There's nothing nasty about what he did. He was being afraid, and so he buried and protected the talent. That's not wicked. There's nothing wicked about that. And there's nothing lazy about making an honest decision to protect the master's wealth. It's not lazy. Now, if this were a parable about the person being stupid, like what we saw in the last one, which was the wise and the foolish, right? That's what the bridesmaids were. The wise bridesmaids and the foolish bridesmaids. This comes after that. If this were wise and foolish, well, then you're like, oh, okay, well, he should be punished for being silly or stupid, right? But he says he's wicked and lazy. These are pejoratives that don't seem to be actually descriptive of the behavior. So it makes that master look completely irrational to make those assumptions. And I think that is important. This reminded me of when I was in seminary. I had a good friend, Emily, who was in medical school. And she would come back and she described this experience of med school and, as being, this is my words, but an exercise in proving to the supervisor how much more unhealthy you are than the next person. You know, if you get there 15 minutes early, you're late. And if you stay 2 hours after you're expected, you're the first one to leave. The hospital being the paragon of health is the place where you're taught to be completely insane. This unhealthy attachment and devotion sacrificially to the system, right? That there's this unhealthy vision is what I'm thinking about, right? This unhealthy attachment, this unhealthy expectation. So if we think about this, then this is the funhouse image of God, right? That rewards people for amassing financial wealth, giving them an over-expected, generous reward for amassing big sums of money, and punishes people for giving what's expected, what's owed. Giving, it's not the minimum. This is what you gave me, and I give it back to you. That's the punishment. So if we flip it, if we flip the script so that we can see what's really communicated, what do you think that real image of God looks like? What is God really trying to say if we flip it over? If amassing wealth gets generosity, gets treated generously, and the person gets punished for starting with less and ending with less. What do you think flipping that over looks like? And I think that's the test of this parable. I think that's what we are called to do on our own. And I hope that this image that you come up with recognizes how distorted the world's view of it is, because that's the central theme for me that I'm seeing. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you found some meaning in it and some help in your own life. And I'll see you next week.